It is Sunday, August 10th here at the West End Gun Club. It is almost 1600. It's late in the afternoon, very abnormal for me to be out here this late in the afternoon, particularly on a weekend. But I wanted to come out to the range because I wanted to try out this new build I just put together. I just slapped everything together finally. But if it looks kind of weird where I'm at, I'm in one of the back bases, like one of the rearmost private bays, you know, the individual bays that you can shoot pistols and whatnot, and it's relatively long range. I can get I think I probably have 75 yards, 80 yards here, but I'm not going to stay here and shoot that distance. I came out to this portion of the range because the main line is still kind of hectic. There's some people shooting pistols, and so I don't want to bore sight and go, you know, have to wait for 15 minutes and whatnot, and all this like back and forth waiting for the line to get called by the range officer. So I'm going to shoot here and then wait till after they all leave, and I'll go over there and get on at 100. In any case, I'm going to set up a target at roughly 30 yards. I have it laying down here. But the meat of it is, this is my new rifle build. This is a 7mm PRC build. If you've been following my Instagram at all, I've been kind of teasing like various things that I've bought in components and dies and reloading equipment and whatnot for this 7 PRC. This is my first long action, believe it or not. This is short of my 1903 A3 Springfield. This is my only long action rifle. It's funny I don't have any long actions. So let's just quickly discuss the specs, but I'm going to get into this in future range vlogs and also an article on the build. But let's just quickly summarize. Defiance anTi-X, long action magnum bolt face, proof research barrel. It was a blank. It's not an off-the-shelf proof research. This one is cut by Straight Jacket Armory with a 7 PRC AW2 chamber. We'll talk about that while I shoot. 26-inch proof barrel, 7 PRC AW2 chamber on a Defiance anTi-X. That was a pre-fit from Straight Jacket Armory. I put in a Trigger Tech rough diamond, which is their single stage rough diamond trigger. It's their most recent one. And we'll talk about that later on, why I picked that. And then this is a Meyers Long Range Hunter, or the LRH stock. I got this configured with the Arca rail put on for me. It's a 12.5 length of pull. In retrospect, I probably should have got 12 3/4, but I'm still playing around my length of pull, but I am short, so I use a shorter length of pull than most people. This is the Hawkins M5 bottom metal for long action. I have the worn Mountain, what do they call it? Mountain Technical or something? Mountain Tech, I think. Mountain Tech rings, 34mm rings. And this is a loopholed Mark IV HD 6-24 scope. I've had this scope for over a year, and I just cracked open the box today. Like, I literally opened up the shrink wrap and everything, so it's all slapped on. Just have my T-back bipod on there, sitting on my tripod. Oh, and a Hellfire match brake. So I have a Hellfire match muzzle brake on there, because California, no suppressors. And all I'm going to do is bore sight 0, then we'll move over to the main line and shoot 100. And also while I'm here, I'll get some chrono data. Man, this is going to leave a lot of dust on the ground. But I'll get some chrono data with some factory ammo just to get an idea of what the baseline is. I will be reloading for this. I've already got bullets. I got some burgers that I won because I got a certificate at one of the matches off the prize table. And so I got 200 rounds of some burgers. I also have the Barnes LRXs at home with some ADG brass, but we'll talk about that later on. If not this vlog, future vlogs when I'm doing the load development. But let's go ahead and get that target set up and shoot, because yeah, it's already getting later in the afternoon and the sun's gonna start to go down, which is actually a good thing because it is hot. Right now it's like 92 degrees, which isn't terrible for Southern California, but it's hot enough, especially if you're in the sun. But I got a little bit of shade right now and it's gonna creep over on that side. So if you don't know how to bore sight a rifle, this is how you do it. Take out your bolt, set up a target or an object out there. I have an IPSEC target, which isn't blank because I forgot to bring a blank IPSEC and I don't feel like going up to the upper Conus container to grab one, but I put a bunch of paces on this one I had in my Conus container. So I have a big black circle on this IPSEC target. What I'm going to do is line up the bore. I'm looking down the barrel, putting this black circle in the bore, pretty much, and then locking in my rifle on this tripod. And for the most part, I'm hitting low. We got height over bore, so I'm probably going to be hitting high anyway, I think. Not sure how the math goes on that. But let's go ahead and just shoot on there. I want to at least be on paper, if not on in the center of this. And what are we going to use to 0, to be honest? I only have 60 rounds. let's go ahead and try the Hornady Precision Hunter. So I brought 3 boxes of ammo. This is some Precision Hunter. This is Hornady. This is the 170 grain ELD-X. And so there's been some controversy on the Hornady 7mm PRC performance, because after it came out, people realized that they weren't getting 3,000 feet per second like Hornady claimed. And there was a bunch of hubbub about they changed powders because they couldn't source powders, certain ones that they initially spec'd with. And so that's why their velocities were lower. I don't know about all that. I just want to get a baseline of my gun, and we'll see where it stands as far as what my velocities are. And so maybe Hornady's is not a good indicator because this might be shooting slow, but it says 3,000 feet per second. I got a 26-inch barrel. They don't really say what kind of barrel they used. Usually 24s, but they could have used the 26 for this. But it's claiming 3,000 feet per second. I probably should get a mag. Let's grab a mag. We'll load these up and shoot one on that target. All right, so we got ourselves an MDT mag. This is the SIP mag, which is whatever the longest length that they can support. I haven't even tested the feeding on this. Let's just load 2 rounds here. But let's hope that it feeds in this bottom metal. Otherwise, we're kind of screwed because it's already set. The pillars are in there. And I'll probably put the bolt in. Pillars are already in there, but hopefully it runs. Put my hearing on because it's going to get loud. All right, let's go ahead and shoot around on paper. Fed off the mag. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot on the center of my target, or this circle. Safety's off. Oh, let's go ahead and bolt up. Let's turn on the chrono. Actually strap this chronograph to it here. I always forget to put on my chronographs when I shoot. All right, bolt down, chamber's closed, firing 1. Okay, I see where we're at. We need to come down significantly. But that was 2911, so 2911 feet per second. Cold bore. So rather than wasting ammo, let's go ahead and make some adjustments here. It's been a while since I touched the loophole. Let me see if I can adjust this. I need to come down. Do I even have down? All right, let's figure this out. $29.34, so it's going up in velocity. Still not the 3,000 they advertised though, and this is a 26-inch barrel, so definitely the Hornady Precision Hunter ammo. This stuff is not shooting very fast. Well, I mean, it's not shooting fast as according to their specs. So even if they were testing out a 24, I have a 26-inch barrel, so you would figure that it would hit 3,000, but no big deal. We'll hand load. We're hand loading, so it's not an issue. Actually, I want to adjust it down a little more. I probably shouldn't keep adjusting it down because I'm going to have to come back up when I go up to 100 yards. So if anything, I should probably just go ahead and, because we're about high 1.5 mils. So let's just adjust the windage, which I did. Came right. Okay. 29.14. So we're definitely hovering 29, average of 29.16 feet per second. Let's go ahead and put this thing back on. Let's pack it up and go back to the main line. They should be all cleared out by now. We'll set up at 100 over there and we'll keep shooting. Change in plans. I scooted over to the bay next to the one I was in because this one actually goes out to 103 apparently. So I ended up putting out to 103 yards. So we should have plenty of room to work this 100 yard. You just don't have a good bench, which is fine because I don't really need a bench. And let's go ahead and get ourselves on. Let's try to get justice. We're shooting at a slight upward angle, just a little bit. I'm laying on some rocks here underneath this drop cloth because I didn't expect to be shooting prone this today, so I didn't bring my mat. We're on. All right, I need to come a mil right, a left, sorry. 5/10. 5/10 left. All right. That last shot was 2,900. 6 shots total. Is that accurate? Actually, it should be 7 shots. Huh. You missed a round. That's interesting. I don't think it got my last round. $29.44. All right, that shot's on top of the last one. Okay. Let's see. Let's shoot one more, just have 3 shots on that with this last setting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. All right, I think we got it zeroed to some degree. Let's go and put some different pacers on that target. Yeah, we'll see where we're at. But just for the record, 29.16 average, 10 shots, even though I took 11 recorded. It is warm out here, so the barrel might be getting kind of warm. Let's give it a break here and then to use this time to swap out or add a target or a paster out there. Before we switch to shooting the Federal Premium 175 grain factory ammo, this uses the same bullet as the Precision Hunter, the 175 grain ELD-X from Hornady. I want to mention that I am running the 7mm PRC AW2 Chamber. So Straight Jacket Armory cut the barrel for me, chambered to the 7mm PRC AW2. If you don't know what AW means, that stands for Alex Wheeler. So what has happened in recent years is that people have discovered that when they're reloading or hand loading their 7 PRC or whatever, 6.5 PRC, 7 PRC, or 300 PRC, that after a few firings and resizes, that they're having issues where you have this thing called a clicker, where in order to get the bolt to release the round at the top end, you have to like really cam that bolt or click it up to get it to extract that round. And what they're coming to find out is that the SAMI spec chambers and SAMI spec dies is not sizing it enough, that base is sticking in the chamber. And so if you're not sizing the brass down enough with SAMI dies, they've decided, or Alex Wheeler decided, to create a chamber spec that is wider at the base, so that if you're sizing down to SAMI spec, but then you have a wider base on the AW2 chamber, you're sizing it down just enough so that it will feed in this AW2 or AW2 chamber spec. So that's the solution. And some people have actually gotten the finish reamer for their factory guns and just finish reaming it out to widen up that base. So that should solve problems here as far as 7 PRC. However, I did get the Fat Boy dies from AWG. I think I posted something on Instagram, but I didn't put the cartridge on in the post. I like kind of blanked it out. But that being said, I did get those dies for a specific reason, and I'll talk about that when I actually start making some hand loads for that. So be on the lookout for mentions of the AWG Fat Boy reloading die. But let's go ahead and try these rounds out. .2958.2, 2958.2. Wow, these are chambering hard. These federal rounds are chambering kind of hard. Wow, it's not good. It's all over. 2980. I'm curious to see if they're seated too long. Let me chamber one and eject it. No, not really. Must be the head space. $3,008.9. $29.55. Wow, the ammo is all over the place as far as velocities. One more round. But that one's squeezed off to the left. Don't know if that's me or what. Okay. $3,000.2. All right. Let's let it cool down. That's not good. I mean, it's only 6 round sampling, but 2977 average with 21.2 SD, 53.4 spread. As far as the primers look good, they look fine to me. No cratering or anything. They just chamber hard. I don't think they size these brass very well as far as the headspace on these factory rounds. Let's let it cool down a little bit. We'll fire the coppers and then probably roll out of here because just trying to get some baseline here. Make sure the gun is sighted in. Although I probably should come up. If you're wondering what that loud whirring is, I am running a barrel cooler. I didn't realize the barrel's that hot. I just held it after that string, and it's pretty warm. Like, I can hold this carbon fiber, but it's definitely hot. So, running this Riflekuhl from Magnetospeed, I've had this for years. I think for maybe pre-COVID, pre-2020, and it's loud. The funny thing is, I was at SHOT Show, and I think I recorded video of it on the show floor when they first released it, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, this one sounds way too loud. It doesn't sound too good." And he wanted to give me a different one for the video, which I post on social media. And the funny thing is, it is loud. Like, these things are pretty loud. And like, I can hear it with my hearing protection on. So I don't know what the guy was making a big deal about. So what, they're loud, as long as it cools the barrel, that's all I care. But I've got this one in that yellow barrel cooler, I think it's called. I don't really use them too often. But these carbon fiber barrels do heat up, and there's a lot of controversy about whether or not these barrels cool fast enough or compared to steel. And I think the general consensus is that the carbon fiber traps heat more, like longer, so it's than bare steel. So it's probably a good idea not to shoot these barrels too quickly. And so I did put how many rounds did I put today? 11 plus 6, 17 rounds in a relatively short amount of time. So we'll just go and let this cool down a little bit before we shoot this next group. But when I show you on paper, they're not very stellar. There is some up and down stringing, and that could be to the heat. So we'll see. It's off to the left. I don't know if that's me or not. Oh, I fed around in there, double fed it. That's my bad. All right. Man, that shot low. The heck, is it me or the gun? I don't know if it's me. There goes my bubble level. I want to say it's me. Either something's loose or I'm dropping these rounds low. All right. Not a very good group. What do we got here? 4 rounds, 29.77 average. My last shot with 3,000 feet per second. Only 4 rounds, 13 SD, 32 spread. Let me go ahead and retorque things, and then we'll just shoot the outfitters, and then we'll wind down this range session. Let's fire the Hornady Outfitter ammunition. This is going to be their copper solids. This is basically a 160 grain CX bullet. They claim it's running 3,000 feet per second, but I'm going to gamble it's going to be around 29.20. Well, it's 160. Maybe they'll get 29.50 out of this. We'll see. Low. 3,000. 4.9. Okay, these are actually to spec, and that one did not chamber. All right. That's weird. The mag came out. Did I not have it clicked up? That was weird. We didn't have a ruptured case or anything. We're good. That's weird. Where'd my other case go? Oh, there it is. Why did my mag pop out? $29.82. Why is my mag coming out? I wonder if it's... Somebody's explained to me why my mag keeps coming out. No overpressure or anything. So we're good. The primers are fine. Although that one has a soot right there. Did that primer bleed, or is that just primer sealant? That's just primer sealant. Okay. Something must be loose, because I'm shooting high rounds now. I don't know. Could be me, could be the gun. 3017, so average of 2991, standard deviation is 16.8, 45 extreme spread. It's only a 5-round string though. Snuck over to another part of the range to talk about these targets. I put away the main target I was first getting the bore sight on, which had the Hornady string on it. So we're missing that, the Hornady 175, but these are the Federal Premium 175 grain ELD-X's here. Shot 6 rounds and 4 rounds. This is the first 3. In the second 3, I don't recall making an adjustment here. It just magically started shooting here. So I don't know if this is just break-in or what, or stringing. But then this is the next string after I let it cool down a little bit, shot 4 more. And so they're hovering on this spot. But this is greater than, like a little bit more than an inch, which isn't all that great. This would have been perfect, this second 3, if it were just normal, like I'd had made an adjustment there. So we are seeing some up and down stringing here. This is the Hornady 160 grain CX, which shot a nice 3-round group here, and then the next 2 shots, 4 and 5, were right here. So either I'm doing something or it's the gun stringing up and down. I did torque it between these 2 groups here, so I rechecked the torque on the action screws. I'm going to say that the scope is pretty solid because I did put 65 inch-pounds on the cross bolts for the rings to the base, and the base is obviously part of the receiver, so that ain't coming loose, and then 18 inch-pounds on all 4 scope ring screws. So I think the optic is fine, or at least the optic mount is fine. Whether or not the scope is fine is another question, but we'll see. This could be me, it could be the ammo, who knows? It could be the gun. I may break it down when I get home to see if the bedding is okay, because it is bedded, the pillars are bedded in there, so we'll make sure that didn't break loose or anything. But full disclosure, here's the target. So what's the verdict on this gun? Right now it's to be determined. Only fired 26 rounds of factory ammo. I was hoping it would shoot a little bit better as far as groups. We're seeing some vertical. Don't know if it's me, don't know if it's the gun, don't know if it's the ammo. I will say that most of my guns, even with factory or custom barrels, out of the gate with factory ammo, they didn't shoot very great initially. So we can chalk it up to break-in, or it could be just the fact that the factory ammo isn't all that great. As far as the gun, I'll double check everything. I can break it apart to make sure that the bedding isn't messed up, but I mean, it's torqued down to 65 inch-pounds. There is no rock in the stock in the action, so I know this is locked in pretty well. But I'll take it apart to make sure the bedding is still intact and the pillars are still there, like not moving around. The optics are good. We're talking 65 inch-pounds on the cross bolts, 18 inch-pounds on the cap screws. So I know they're locked in. The pigtail is part of the receiver, so that ain't coming loose. So unless the optic is messed up, should be okay here. So I don't know, to be determined. I don't want to raise any red flags right now, or raise an alarm, but we'll see where it goes. We'll go ahead and do some hand loads. I have Burger 175s, the Elite Hunters, I think is what they're called. And I have the Barnes CXs, LRXs, 168 grains. I have H1000 at home. I don't have any match bullets, but the Elite Hunters from Burger is about as close as a match bullet you're going to get, short of shooting like their hybrid targets, which they make a 180 or 195. I can't remember. But we'll try those out. And God, there's so many bugs around here. We'll try those out. ADG brass, H1000 powder. I have a cedar die, the 4-stir die. I have that ready to go. So we'll work up some loads. I know the ADG brass is supposedly thicker, so you have to start up a little bit more carefully. But at least I have a baseline of where I need to be, or where my gun is shooting a factory, or the barrel is shooting a factory. We'll kind of see where we can go with hand loads, and we'll watch the pressure signs and see where we go. Anyway, it's already 1800. Been out here for 3 hours just to shoot 26 rounds. I'll try to get some photos before I leave, but let's go ahead and just call this range vlog. If you have any ideas about like what I should look for as far as the gun and what should be a concern for me right now, and what I should double check, but go ahead and comment in the video comments and I'll read those. But that's it for today, Sunday, August 10th here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vlog.